So Kevin left Wendy for Sharina, and presently she left him since he's a destitute kid, discuss karma, he had it all cash distinction. And a lady that cherished him, yet presently he's poor and suffocating in the reds, Sharina, ain't about that broke life. So it's insane the way in which things can go downhill right. It's regressive, Barbie, you realize he was deceiving up cash. She's in the front seat of my Rolls-Royce Ferrari. And you realize I mean ridiculously so blast, we should begin from the start. Kevin and Serena had a mysterious illicit relationship for an entire 16 years. Might you at any point accept that? And the most insane part is that Kevin was as yet hitched to the renowned moderator Wendy Williams through every last bit of it. Yes, that is an extremely untidy circle of drama. Yet that is not even the most terrible of it in light of the fact that in addition to the fact that Kevin cheated on Wendy, he utilized her well-deserved cash to help Serena's lavish way of life. Definitely it's a wreck, so we should rewind back in time. Everything started in 2007 when Kevin and Serena began sneaking around. Despite Wendy's good faith, he gave Serena costly gifts and extravagant outings. Yet here's the kicker, Wendy really had some awareness of the issue. We couldn't envision how she felt realizing her significant other, yet sneaking around with another person. She was in isolation and had nobody to converse with. I had no one again to converse with except for the times presently were considerably more profound than they at any point were a major part of my life. I was unable to call my mother, my father, my sister. They would have quite recently said leave. One time she went as far as possible over to their home and splash covered all up it. I was measuring my eyes at each window. Gracious, took out my splash paint, and I splash painted Kevin and Wendy perpetually. She needed to reside with the information that her better half was cheating, and she had one rule: no children outside their marriage. Basic enough right off face. To hotly debated issues, punch a hole in the condom and get pregnant. Yet that blew up on me, didn't it? Kevin couldn't stay faithful to his commitment. He disrupted that guideline as well and had a child, young lady, with Serena. Could you at any point envision the shock Wendy felt when she found this reality? It was the straw that broke the camel's back, that broke their marriage, and Wendy petitioned for a separation, and the world looked as their relationship disintegrated in the public eye. This is additionally where things began to go seriously for Kevin. When you work for a lady you are betraying, you will undoubtedly get terminated some time or another. And it could never have come at a more regrettable time for him. With the expecting kid, Kevin required all the money. I don't suggest that you work with your significant other in light of the fact that I made him my supervisor, and afterward when I chose to separate from him, he must be terminated another. I made him separated and jobless, across the board day. Yet the show didn't stop there. While Kevin was as yet hitched to Wendy, he utilized her cash to fund Serena's fantasies. First he sent Sharina to an extravagant back rub treatment school. Yet think about what it didn't figure out. She dropped that fantasy before it even began. It resembled her desire, disappeared immediately and inexplicably. Yet Kevin didn't surrender. He chose to attempt his affection with a web-based dress and gems store called Fish. Could you at any point accept the nerve involving another person's cash to begin a business for your side piece? Obviously it was ill-fated to bomb, very much like all the other things Kevin contacts. It's like he had a Midas contact for picking fruitless endeavors. He even got her guaranteed as a real estate professional. And when that tumbled to, he opened up a vegetarian search for herself. And think about what that wasn't a triumph. Possibly they ought to have recently surrendered by then. Yet the franticness didn't end there. Kevin even purchased Serena $1 million house. Might you at any point accept that he was carrying on with an existence of extravagance, all subsidized by Andy's financial balance? Yet we should not fail to remember Wendy was an effective anchor person. While Kevin was only a maker, he didn't make to the point of supporting Sharina's rich way of life. Even Sharina's wedding band was purchased with Wendy's cash, and she had the daringness to show it off via virtual entertainment. All that those two had was thanks to Wendy. And she won't allow them to fail to remember it. I think she'll be 3 1 month from now. Don't you know anyway, the provision cash Wendy was paying Kevin was obviously insufficient for every one of their costs. And when Wendy confronted medical problems and needed to enjoy some time off from her show that was the finish of Kevin's sumptuous way of life, in the end, the organization dropped Wendy's show because of her drawn-out non-appearance. And this is where things took a go for the more awful for Kevin. You see, Wendy had a subtle condition in their separation repayment. In the event that her show got dropped, she didn't need to pay Kevin any support, very much appreciate that the simple income halted. And in an exceptionally plotative individual, like I will plot on you, truth be told, and that is the reason I'm going into season 11. And he's changing spoils. Yet you will have a hard time believing what occurs next. Kevin's monetary circumstance went much more terrible downhill. The provision installments evaporated, leaving him stranded and unexpectedly. He was unable to manage the cost of this sumptuous way of life. He was developing accustomed to it, resembled his life was imploding directly in front of him. Yet when all else fails, compromise is unavoidable, right? So what did Kevin do? He chose to sue Wendy, guaranteeing she owed him cash. And he was enraged with her. Kevin Tracker asserted that he was terminated, not due to my work execution. I was terminated on the grounds that I was going through a separation with my ex, and that is unlawful in the province of New York. He likewise went on Instagram, requesting his cash back. The truth of the matter is I'm not being quiet any longer. This has nothing to do with Wendy, except for closely relates to individuals making a respectable attempt, brought in cash that I've worked for, and assist with building. He additionally added, I didn't relinquish however much I accomplished for my child to go through this. Miss me with a twofold standard ish too yet. This case got tossed out of court. In addition to the fact that he was a bankrupt kid, he needed to manage the legal advisor charges, discuss a significant L. It resembled aggravating some old animosity in a meeting. Kevin uncovered exactly the way in which broke. I have fallen behind the greater part of my bills. I as of now live locally that expects installments to the property holder's affiliation. And I'm behind on that bill on the off chance that the property holder's affiliation charges are not paid. Dispossession will before long follow. My vehicle protection hasn't been paid because of getting month-to-month severance installments. I'm behind on visa installments. Since I have no cash since the severance installments were suspended, my life has been enormously compelling since the offended parties quit pursuing installments under our repayment arrangement, yet to exacerbate the situation. Sharina unloaded Kevin when his cash train came crashing down. She gathered her packs and moved back in with her mother, letting Kevin be. Currently, I'm hearing that Eric serving Kevin and Sharina are as of now not together, and you understand what that will happen. The cash is gone. It resembles. She just thought often about the extravagant gifts and extravagant way of life he could give once the cash was gone. So was she, and truly, that is precisely exact thing Kevin merited. I don't mind. It's insane how this Twitter client anticipated this plan to happen. They said Kevin Tracker been having a request illicit relationship for 10 or more years. His better half, that is escort, has been imploring him to leave, only sought legal separation. Sharina can have him 100 soon enough and watch her not need him any longer. At the end of the day, they never need you when you're free. Other blustery fans have been having a field day after this news broke. 2-1 remarked the way that this man figured he would have had it cheerfully at any point after is diverting in the expressions of Neen Leaks. You can always lose in the event that you play filthy. So there you have it, the legendary story of Kevin Tracker's destruction. An unmistakable update. Behaving recklessly ultimately gets you copied. Kevin figured he could swindle, take, and celebrate the good life on another person's dime. Everlastingly, yet karma had different plans. Bless your heart.